Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to present to you the next Hiker Spotlight because it's with someone you guys have requested, someone we've talked about. It is with August Servant. August, I'm honored to have you here. For many of you guys that do not know, August Servant has put out some quality videos, some of the most detailed video work I've ever seen on YouTube.
What's up, everybody? August Servant here. I'm fielding questions from Gunner. You may know him as New to the Wild. Guy got so many handles, I can't even keep track. So we're doing a collaboration effort. He's in his place, I'm in mine. I told him to send me a video with questions, and he's pretty much a master with this video editing stuff. So he sent me the questions. I'm listening to them, and then I'm firing them back off, okay? So that's where we stand right now. We're gonna get started. The time is Sunday. It's 2:16, and the date is November 19th, 2017. All right, before I start taking his questions, I just want to get you familiar with me, for those of you that don't know who I am. I mean, in my own world, it's easy to say, oh, everybody knows about August. I can't say that for certain. I don't know that. I've done a lot of videos in 2012. That's where I started the video project. And that project was pretty much, it was an ambitious endeavor. Okay, I was going to do a documentary of the Appalachian Trail, and I was going to do a through hike, saving everything to my iPod. Long story short, as you were, those videos are on YouTube, period. They're on YouTube. You can go to my Facebook if you like. Every single one of my videos that I did in 2015 shows a link to my Facebook account. The Facebook account is August Servant. Once you click into one video, you will see on the side where it shows all the videos, and you can use that portal, okay, to go into the videos itself. Now, I did the project first in 2012, okay? That hike did not work out. Still, I put a lot of information out. The first 25 videos are pretty much a how-to as far as hiking and through Hikers Trail. Doing a through hike through the Appalachian Trail. What's the point? My whole goal was just to enlighten minorities. Two reasons. Number one, I had no idea that the Appalachian Trail even existed. Okay, it's like a members only secret society, but it just so happens I heard somebody talking about it, a white person, you know, just was on a military base. I made a mental note, took some leave, went out to the Appalachian Trail, and the same thing. I mean, beautiful trail, but I saw no minorities, no Mexicans, no nothing. And I said to myself, man, this is great. It's the best kept secret. And I'm a city boy. And if I can appreciate it, I can only imagine how many other people that have no understanding of it. Okay, so what I did was, for the last 20 years, I think I first hiked the trail in '92. Now these are just section hikes. I didn't have the time. I couldn't take the time out the military to do a through hike. Still, not to make, I really don't want to recap and step on his toes. I'm trying to do a video, but I want you to know where I'm coming from. Okay, so real quick, I've been doing a trail since '92. We'll just say that. And I've been deploying back and forth, but I've been hiking the trail, I could say, for over 20 years. All right. And my whole thing was I wanted to show people, number one, familiarize people with the trail, show them the do's and don'ts, the ins and outs that I pretty much had to learn the hard way from hard knocks. I'm not shy. I asked a lot of questions. So since I did the field work, and I had all that knowledge, I just wanted to give it back. So that was the whole purpose in 2012. I got as far as New York. That didn't work out, so I got off the trail. It was a budgeting issue. Did I have the money? Yes. I budgeted $2 a mile. And back in the day, that is enough to get you through. But understand, that's not counting hotels, and that's not counting you paying out for shuttles back and forth. And that's just as important. You gotta have, you gotta budget for that, okay? $1 a mile is talking about pretty much food to get you from A to B, maybe a hotel, you know, now and then. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think you can really get through it this time. But you know, it all depends on how you do your money, if you want to do it groups. But again, I digress. You're going to hear me babbling a lot. So I'm babbling again, so let me stop on there. I went back in 2015 and I did the whole through hike, okay? From start to finish, started in Georgia, and I went to Maine. And in that block, it came out to 107 videos, okay, of me showing you detail for detail exactly what's going on. Now, you can know the difference between the videos if you read it. One says 2012, through hike. The other one says 2015 through hike. Okay, so that's how you can separate that. That's where I'm coming from. That's how I met Gunner. I met Gunner in 2012 when he was asking me questions about my videos. We've been in contact ever since then. Okay, he reached out to me. He's like, August, and actually he's been trying to interview me for a long time, but I just never had the time, to be honest with you. So I figured, okay, we're gonna try to collaborate, and so that's what we're doing now. That's who I am. That's what we're talking about, and I'm making my videos here to answer his questions, okay? And like I said before, you can hit me up on Facebook if you just want to see the videos. That's the quickest way to get to the videos. It's not that easy typing in Through Hike Appalachian Trail on YouTube, okay? Because there's a lot of people out there. But if you look hard enough, you will find me. I'm sure Gunner will send you a link. He's plugged into you guys, okay? So that's the artery. That's the main network, okay? If you just want to know this Appalachian Trail traffic. And I'll be honest with you, if there is a proverbial passing of the torch, okay, then I would entrust that to Gunner, okay? His heart's in it, all right? And that's what it takes. It takes emotion, commitment, all these things, every single attribute, anything I can list, every adjective has to do with heart. It has to do with passion. And Gunner got that in spades, okay? Now, I will be going back to the trail, but I haven't heard his questions. So before I just start babbling on about me, I'm going to answer his questions. And then if there was something that he left out, I'm just going to come on a tail end and give you a little bit more. Okay? Out here for now. Break.
August, how are you doing today?
Gunner, I am doing fine, man. Thanks for asking. Every day is a beautiful day. That being said, I'm a personal trainer. So every single day I'm running, I'm going to the gym, and I'm always trying to stay in the best fitness that I possibly can, because I already know, what if I want to hike the trail tomorrow? What if something go down here and I need a break? I need to be able fit enough to go to the trail. So you ask me how I'm doing. Man, I'm doing great. I'm still at that peak performance. When I left the trail, I think I left around 170 pounds. I'm back up to 196, 198. I want to be at 200. That's my goal, to be at 200. But that's just speaking of mass. But I understand that when I get to the mass of 200, I'm also going to have the endurance and everything else that goes with that, because I'm constantly pushing circuit training. I'm constantly pushing training that has to do with endurance, okay? Oxygen, just being able to process. And then there's altitude, things like that. So pretty much the bulk of my training is probably 3 parts, okay? It's yoga and stretching. It's actual resistance training, okay? Weights and whatnot. And then it's pretty much, calisthenics, running, martial arts, boxing, jogging, rollerblading, all those things, okay? I want to get the whole structure, my whole body and mind and everything else ready for the next stage. All right, break out here.
Now, August, is that your trail name? Is that your real name? Kind of elaborate a little bit on that, and let me know if you have a trail name and where the origins of it may have came from.
All right, next question. You want to know where the name August came from. Is it my real name? Is it the trail name? I kind of covered this briefly in my onset video in 2012, but sure, I'll go ahead and tackle that. August is a trail name, okay? Where did August comes from? Well, it's like this. I've had quite a few trail names. The only ones that I remember is one before I went to August, and it was 86. Like, you put something... Like, you run out of something, you 86 it, you put it in the file. Okay, so that was my trail name back in the day, 86. Around 1991, 92, the group called Counting Crows came out with their first album. It was called August and Everything After. So when I went back to the trail following the release of that tape, I took that whole name. My whole trail name was August and Everything After. Okay, I don't know if I picked that up in 92 or 93, but from that point on, I've always been known as August, okay? And as I told you before, it came from the group Counting Crows. So, what's my real name? Everyone, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Rashid Aziz, okay? Am I Arabic? No. My mother came up in the Malcolm X movement, and she said that pretty much she wants to name her kids black names. So, there you go. She named me Rashid Aziz. And to be honest with you, the name has been like an albatross. It's just been hanging around my neck forever, and it never worked, especially post 9/11. Oh my God! Just so you know, um, Saddam Hussein's right hand man, his name was Tariq Aziz. Okay, now I'm in the military with Aziz plastered right on my chest here. Okay, so understand. There's ramifications there. I don't care how many sensitivity trainings you had, this, that, and the other. This is America, okay? America's primarily white, okay? If you don't have a name like Bob and Alice and Sue, it's a wrap. I'm sorry, and it's not that I don't appreciate this and the other. I mean, I do, but my mom don't understand. Okay, give you a perfect example. My father's name is Herbert Ross, okay? That's his given name, Herbert Milton Ross. Okay, so not only did she changed her last name, she didn't even give me my father's name. Okay, so but hey, that's a strong single black woman for you. And but that, like I said, that name. Every time I go to the airport, I'm getting strip searched. They already know. I go to Greyhound. They see that ticket. Yeah, you need to get over here. Oh my God. Okay, I don't know how many promotions I've been passed over in the military. Quite a few. It just does not work. And every time as technology grows, everything goes more and more internet and so forth. So I can't walk into a place of business looking for a job and sell myself, present myself. It doesn't work like that. Now you got to go online. Okay, so when I send my applications and resumes online, the first thing they see is Rashid Aziz, and you ain't got to tell me. I know it's going straight to the trash. I never hear it. They don't show me love. They assume you Arab, and that's all there is to it. All right, I may be a little bit passionate on this subject, but I tell you, it's been an uphill battle ever since. Okay, period. So I just kept the name August. Servant's a pen name, so I put them together. I write books. I got 23 books on Amazon.com, 24. I just wrote one. About 24, 25 books on Amazon.com under the name of August, the trail name, and Servant, the surname, pen name that I put under there. So it works together. August Servant. Okay. So that's where it came from. Yeah, how you doing? I'm doing an interview, but I got groupies. So I know it may sound like, oh, you don't appreciate it, but you understand. I'm not racist, but everything is race related. People just don't realize that everything is race related. So, like I said, I never really cared for the name, and at the end of the day, there's no blood in it. There's no history in it. I told my mother, dude, you cut us off at the roots. If I want to do an ancestry or whatever, I can't. I mean, who is this person? You just picked the name out of a book. I digress. Forgive me. But you got to know I'm passionate. I come from the heart. He asked me, so there you go. August is a trail name. I got it from Counting Crows. My name's Rashid Aziz. Boom, bada, bam. And yeah, before you say, oh, you should change your name. No, it don't work that way. Yeah, I could change it. But the college, the military, high school, every record I ever got is under the name Rashid Aziz. Back in the day when you changed your name, you got a new Social Security card. It don't work that way now. Even if I change my name, the Social Security card is there. The minute they do a background check, they're going to see it and then they go flag, oh, this must be a terrorist. He's trying to pose to be something else. Your name's Rashid, so trust me, I've already done the background on that. Break, next question. Out here.
Excellent. Now, in your videos, August, you have mentioned several times that you've been on the Appalachian Trail quite some time. How long have you been hiking? Is essentially my question, and what got you involved in hiking?
All right, next question. How long have you been hiking, and what got you involved in hiking? Well, how long have I been hiking? Since '92. It's a given. What got me hiking? I was stationed in I guess you can blame the military for that. All right, I was infantry. All right, my basic training was in Johnson Hall. That's in Fort Benning, Georgia. It's a very rural, woodsy, rocky, mountainous region. Okay, and by the way, they have a ranger school down there. So, like I said, I'm a city boy. Bivouac is a French word. All right, it's it's a term used in the military when you go out, not camping, but bivouacking, where you got to set up your own stuff, and it's just the field. Okay, and I took to it like a fish to water. I loved it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something inside me that just craves the outdoors. But ever since then, since I got that bug, I loved it. So I never mind the field. When we got to go to the field, when it's time to bivouac, I'm like, cool. Lead the way. I'm all up in the dirt. So that's where I got the love for it. And like I said, I really don't know where it came from. I was just passionate. I just took to it. Okay, so now years later, I'm mechanized. Okay, what? I'm anti-tank. We ride in tanks, so we ride in Humvees, and we shoot. We kill tanks. All right. So the whole bivouac stuff is really not there. You drive, you park your tank, you turn on the heater, you do whatever, you chill. You know. So I kind of miss the outdoors. So anyway, like I said, I'm on post. And this is like after the desert, all the stuff that's going down, you know. Um, and so this guy was just talking about how he went on the trail, you know. He wasn't in my unit, but dude, Fort Campbell is huge. But at any rate, he was talking about the Appalachian Trail, and I pulled him aside and I'm like, tell me more about this. And then I researched it. And I'm like, yeah, dude, this sounds like this is right up my alley, you know. And so first chance I get, I went on leave, I grabbed my military gear and I hit the woods. I didn't go to Georgia. I went to Maine. Because the way I understood it, it goes from Maine to Georgia. That's where the pamphlets and everything came out. In the beginning, that's how they sold it. So I just went straight to Maine, started on Mount Katahdin, 90 pounds of gear, okay? Nobody told me you can't take your gear on Mount Katahdin. So, oh my God, you have no idea. I'm carrying, I mean, I was dumping gear then, but I think I ended up with like maybe 70 pounds on my back while I'm going up Mount Katahdin, and then you know, tourists were looking at me and they're like, hey, you don't got to take your pack, you can just store it here. But see, me, I didn't have a campground. I'm thinking I didn't get a campground. There was no secure place for me to leave my gear. I just figured, okay, I'm gonna do the trail. Let me go up Mount Katahdin, come back down and hit the trail. Didn't work that way. I ended up stashing my gear, most of it, behind some rocks or whatever, and then I went up Katahdin, and then I came back. And then I picked up my gear, slept in a, it was like, I mean, I didn't know what I was getting into. Mount Katahdin is not an easy hike. So I went up around 3 o'clock. I came down, it was like 6, okay? It was like dark. So not knowing what to do, I just grabbed all my gear. I went to what appeared to be a vacant campsite, and I just crashed on top of a picnic table, right? 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, this camper rolls in. Dude pulls on he opened up his flashlight. He's flashing down on me. He's like, what the? We ordered this campsite. And I'm looking like, what saved me was, because number one, this is Maine. I was probably the only black person in Maine, okay? So these people are white. They're looking at me like, oh my God, what do we have here? It's a situation. But all my gear was Army. They're thinking, what? Did we step in the, did something happen? Is the military doing it? I'm like, nah, it's cool. It's cool. I'm on leave. I'm in the military. I did not rent this place. I realize it's yours. Let me pack up and I'll get out your way. They're like, no, you're a soldier. Don't worry about it. Dude, it's late. We're not doing nothing. Sleep. When you wake up in the morning, we'll just do our thing. We can sleep in the camper. So it all worked out. Okay. So even then, it was just love. It was camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they see an army green. Maybe not. It don't matter. It was a good experience. Next morning, they were snoring. I packed up my gear. I hit the trail. And I started hiking. But like I said, it was grueling. It was hard. All my gear was wrong. Everything was wrong. Okay? Now, I said before in the video, and I'll say this real quick, it's not that the military gear is wrong. It's just not the proper gear for the task that I was going into. Task, condition, and standards. Okay? So all the gear was heavy. It wasn't meant for you to be packing up mountains in excess of 5,000 feet with all this gear. It just wasn't made for that. And you'll get a recap on this when you go through my videos. Okay? So the question was, I just love hiking. Why do you hike? I love it. I've been hiking since '92. And more often than not, I come for the people. I come for the camaraderie. Okay? The esprit corps, as we like to call it. And the trail itself is a challenge. I always return because of the challenge. And I think that has something to do with the next question. So I'm going to break it here, cut it, and then get into, if it's a follow-up to this, I'll finish it out here.
So in terms of long distance hiking, what experience, I know you've done a lot of AT work. Have you ever considered the Pacific Crest Trail or the Continental Divide? Just kind of curious on your thoughts on those other trails, if you plan on doing any other long trails.
All right, next question. Why the AT trail? Okay, and then it was phrased such that, you know, there's the Pacific Coast, there's all these other trails you can do long distance. Do you plan on doing any different trails? Let me break that down right there. No. Okay, PCT, all these other things, I mean, I'm sure they're great. I mean, it makes sense, right? I'm in California, it's right in my neck, it's right there in the neck of the woods. So no. Okay, why not do the PCT? Why not do all these other trails? Well, mostly because from day one, okay, there's a guy at the Blueberry Patch. His name is Gary. I call him my trail dad. All right, I met him in like '93, and from there we bonded. Okay, that was the first real bond. Okay, next years later, I met Miss Janet. That was another bond. Okay, these are like soulmates. These are like people that like family. Okay, now multiply that times 10. These are the people that I meet on the trail. These are the relationships that I make with these people. And not to say that these aren't, I'm gonna have to say it twice. These aren't kids. These are grown adults. What do you mean? What I mean is these people have houses. They are established. They're on the trail. Okay. A good friend of mine in Hot Springs. He owned the Smoky Mountain Diner. Okay. We bonded, dude. That's like he was a brother. He was a preacher. He was just we just became family. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is these relationships that you make. The only way that I'm gonna have to go on the East Coast is if I drive down there, and I'm from California, so I look at it this way. I have a vacation, I want to take a hike where I want to go. Hey, there's a lot of family, extended family I want to see on the East Coast. Okay, why not do a through hike? And that's why it's always ended up being a through hike, because every state I'm visiting people. I'm just pulling off, and it's all part of the trail community because that's how we met initially. So the reason why I keep going back to the trail is because number one, because of the people. I'm going back to visit, okay? To visit extended family, all right? So why not the PCT and all this other stuff? Well, I'm sure the PCT is great. I'm sure all these other trails are great. And I'm sure they offer somewhat of a challenge. I have researched it. Okay? The reason why I continuously go back to the AT, well, the first one was because the AT beat my butt. Period. The AT is the hardest thing I ran 2 marathons. Okay? Detroit Marathon, 2004. Honolulu Marathon, 2006. Okay? 26.4 miles. All right? My time, 5 hours, 30 minutes, something like that. All I'm saying is I know hard. Okay? I know what it means to push yourself. Okay? Marathon, okay, I had some cramps. No big deal. But I still ran it. I still did it nonstop. The marathon compared to the trail. Trail's a 10, marathon's a 4. Okay? So the point I'm trying to say is that it's just hard. And the fact that it kept beating my ass every single time, I'm like, I'm going to rise to this challenge. All right? I'm going to do it. So it was more of a challenge for me to rise to the challenge, to change my training, to go back in the gym and figure out, okay, what am I wrong? And then to study the gear. It was just, it's something that's so engrossing. You can get into it. It can become a mission. It can become a lifestyle. It can become an obsession. Okay? So I always go back to the trail because I mean, okay, that's already mentioned 2 factors, the people, the challenge. I'm going to throw in something else in there. Okay, Africa. Okay, what makes Africa a unique continent is because it has every single ecosystem found on the whole face of the earth. What do you mean? Take Mount Kilimanjaro, highest point in Africa, 17,000 feet. You got ice, tundra, all that. You may as well call that the Arctic. Any cold region, you got it in Mount Kilimanjaro. Okay? You got desert. What? You got Egypt. You got the Sahara. Okay? And then you got the equator down in the middle. You got South Africa. So all I'm trying to say is that the trail encompasses every single feature you would find on any other trail. Okay? From Mount Katahdin to New Hampshire to New York to Jersey to Georgia, North Carolina, all these different climates and stuff, it changes. And the fact that I start in Georgia on purpose because I'm hiking through the seasons. When I start in Georgia in March, it's still winter. It's still snow. I'm still seeing snow. I get to hike through winter, spring, and summer, where I crest at the top in Maine. And I'm going through all these different things. So I'm telling you, dude, it's a visceral experience. It hits all the senses. It catches you across the board. It's just beautiful. It's perfect. And the support system throughout the trail is perfect. These trail towns, old Appalachia, poverty-stricken, they greet hikers with open arms. They know you got money coming. They know you bringing sustenance, okay? Now, granted, back in the day, it was really gracious. You didn't even have to hike. They see you like, hey, hiker, come on. They're showing you love because they're bringing money back to their communities. and they know that you're going to pay. Now, times have changed. I get that. This is not the same trail as it was 20 years ago, but you asked me why, and I'm answering the question. You know, I'm old-fashioned. I keep going back to that. Yeah, I got a lot of nostalgia, but so do I plan on hiking any other trail? No. Right now, since I've conquered the AT, since I got 2 through hikes under my belt, when I go for a challenge. You know, where okay, I got some time. What do I want to do for the next 4 to 5 months? You know what? I'm gonna go on the trail. Okay. As a trainer, it just scopes my body. It keeps me in shape. It's just perfect. All right. It's a revelation in and of itself. You know, and it's a great escape. It's not 2 weeks in the woods, 3 weeks in the woods. It is a great escape. You can literally go out and transform yourself for months, and then you come back refreshed. Okay, so that was the answer to your question. Break.
We haven't seen you in a while out here since 2015. With that though, you've been everywhere on this. Can I ask you what your favorite hiking moment is? What's the moment that made you say, "I'm really enjoying this"?
All right, next question. He says, you know, we haven't seen you on the trail since 2015, you know, and then he goes like, you know, you keep coming back. Do you have like a favorite trail moment, like just an experience, you know? Well, I haven't been on the trail since 2015. I've been doing my thing. I'm on a 5-year plan right now. Do I plan on going back? Yes, I'm going back. I decided in 2016 that I'll go back in 2020 on my bicentennial when I'm 50, you know. So even as I train right now, as I run and do these things, I'm doing it with the explicit, you know, characteristics, and, you know, I'm thinking about the trail. So, short answer, yes, I'm going back in 2020. Favorite trail moment, you know, what's the good experience that you can relate to? Well, years ago, somebody said, what are your favorite words? So this was on Facebook. You know how they just send you these little snippets. And I came up with 2 words, okay? My 2 favorite words are free and welcome, okay? Now, I've always said your trail experience is going to be based on your life experience. The older you are, the better chances you have of getting not only through hiking, but actually enjoying the experience more, because you have more life lessons to draw from. Think of every year of your life as like a superpower that somebody else don't have. And you go on this trail at 50 and 45 and 30, dude, you got so much more advantage over these youngsters coming out straight out of high school, 20, 25. You don't see it because you're using the wrong stick. You're measuring it different. You see these virile young people and you're thinking, wow, they're having fun, but you don't really know what's going on with you. You know, still waters run deep. You got to think about that ancient oak, that redwood. Man, there ain't no way in hell a wind gonna blow that down. It's there because it withstood the challenge for all these years. Now, I digress, so let me get back to it. So the 2 things that just make up my life as far as what means the most to me, what touches me most, okay, free, trail magic. All right, it's just like, it's free love. You're hiking, you're saving money. People just like they're giving you home cooked meals. They're just showing you love. And even without the trail magic, if they're not feeding you food, you still get encouragement. People stop and give you a ride and don't even take your money. So it's just the camaraderie. You got to understand. I came up in segregation. Okay, I went to an all-black school when I was growing up and was forced to get on a school bus and drive for an hour and a half to the white part of town and just have these people spitting on you, telling you, what are you doing here, calling you nigger every time you're on a playground. So I know what it means to not feel welcomed, okay? So, and I'm not trying to make this political, I'm just telling you my life experience. So I've already covered free, okay? Now, when you talk about welcome, making a person feel welcome, that's what the trail does, you know? That's why I keep coming back. I'm a minority, I'm looking for it. Where is it? Where's the racist? You know, I know I'm here in rebel country. Where is it? But it's not there. I'm not saying it's not there. Okay, it's there a little bit. I've heard stories, you know, but the point I'm trying to say is that you just feel welcome. There is no tension. They look at you, they're like, what's up, brother? You know, come on over here, man. Yeah, we know we roasting hot dogs, we doing this, that, and the other. So the camaraderie of it. And that's why I enjoyed the military that much too, because you don't see color. You just see people helping people. And that's that same camaraderie on the trail. People helping people. You're sharing that same common goal and you're moving forward. Okay? So that's why I keep returning back to the trail, because it hits me on all these different cylinders. It hits me where it counts. And it just so happens that my life the things that I've been through my life experience, it's a parody. It just catches me just right. I could be in a different person if I was raised in a different state or a different color, and it probably wouldn't even appeal to me. All right. So what I'm saying is it's a soul experience also. Now, my favorite state was New York in 2005. 2015, it ended up being Massachusetts. Favorite experience is always Grace Highlands, when you get to see the horses and literally reach out there and touch nature. That is so beautiful. But I gotta tell you, man, there is beauty in the whole trail itself. There's always something that you can't see. And the fact that you go in there naive, the fact that you go in there not knowing everything, emptying your cup with humility and grace, you can take in everything. It's not like, and even though I've been there and done it and I keep going back, it still hits me. It's still fresh. You know what I'm saying? We all know what a rose smells like, but you're not gonna not stop and smell it. Why? Because when you smell that rose, you're programming yourself with all the memories that ever touched you from that smell. So when I'm hiking a trail, I'm going through the years. It's like a time warp. You know, I'm walking through 92, through 2000, through 2005, and the people, the echoes, the sounds, the people that I hiked with, they're all there. The smiles, the laughter, the pictures, it's all there. So I guess I really don't have one favorite trail experience, but it's just so visceral. It all comes back to me when I'm on the trail. You know, and let me just say this. When I went through in 2005 and saw a mural of myself in a Smoky Mountain Diner, I'm like, wow.
Okay, so I'm at the Smoky Mountain Diner, and this is actually me in 2005.
Actually, I was impressed. I looked at the map.
Right? Talk about being immortalized. That's about the best indication of flattery that you can ever have. As I said before, we go way back. Me and the owner of this diner, Bobby Hayes, we go way back. And so, and he was a good friend of mine. He passed in 2012, and I just came by to see his daughter and say hi, and she like hit me with this. So this is awesome. I feel so great out here.
That's what I'm talking about. You can't fake that kind of passion. You can't fake that kind of emotion. You can't impart something in someone that's not real, okay? Where they want, well, let me put it to you this way. You don't know what effect you have on somebody until you step back and then see them showing that mirror, turn the mirror around and be like, this is what you mean to me. This is what you showed me. So just by seeing that mural on the wall with me in a Smoky Mountain Diner, that just says that, heard, understood, and acknowledged. In the military, we say HUA, okay? That's an acronym, HUA, heard, understood, acknowledged. And when you get back exactly the feed and be like, he did feel me. You guys understood me. I see there is love there. I see it. It's just beautiful. It's just a confirmation. It's a revelation. So I hope I covered that question right. All right, break.
Well, you told us about your favorite hiking moment. Everybody would like to know. I mean, obviously you've done a lot of the AT. Do you have a favorite area, a favorite hiking area, someplace that you would love, that you could just continuously hike over and over again?
All right, next question. And on this particular segment, I'm going to wrap it up and then change locations. Probably take care of this another day. It just so happens, dude, this interview is the questions. I mean, on his interviews, he's at like 2 minutes. I'm already at like 45 minutes on just answering these questions. So this is going to be a long, grueling process. Not really grueling, but it's going to take a minute. So I'm going to finish this question up and then wrap it up. Okay. He wants to know what's my favorite place. My favorite place, and just like a place, is Max Patch. It's beautiful. It's like grasslands, a nice little bald. And I always save experiences just for Max Patch. What do you mean? I'll buy a Frisbee in Georgia pack that Frisbee to Max Patch in North Carolina just to fly it. Okay, where it just hits the thermals and just soar. You can throw a Frisbee for a mile on top of Max Patch. I've hiked in a kite just to fly it on Max Patch. It's just, Max Patch is just a beautiful place. So if you just have to put your finger on it, what's the most perfect place, then it's gonna be Max Patch. Max Patch is awesome. And I will say this, the huts in New Jersey, the huts are beautiful. The best experience I had with the huts are 2015. And just so, I went back and saw a video and I said 2005 when I was speaking of the mural on the wall. Okay, correction, that was 2015. And to be honest with you, that moment where somebody say, August, you're on the wall, and I look up, that right there, out of all the years, that just floored me. That's the best moment. It's the most heartfelt moment. It's the most touching moment. I really haven't had cause to cry on the trail, but if I had to, those would have been tears of joy. You feel me? So that's how much it really hit me, visceral. So favorite place, Max Patch. He wants to know 2 questions. He said, what's your worst hiking moment? And then he said, where's that moment where you just said, you know, man, to hell with it, I'm going home. I'm going to tackle that first. Every time you fail is like a worst moment, you know. But what gets you to that point when you say the hell with it? Let me be clear. The trail is not your enemy, okay? It's not the woods that beat you. It's your own ignorance. It's my own ignorance. It's carrying a pack that doesn't fit you right, that gives you the rash and throws your back out, gives you a limp. It's wearing boots that aren't fitted right, that gives you a blister that covers the whole size of your foot where you just can't go on, okay? So it's your own ignorance that tells you like, man, the hell, I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong, but all I'm doing is experiencing pain. I'm going home now, okay? That and figuring out that you don't have the budget, when you don't have enough money, where you got to walk around and see people leave people behind because they're in a hotel and you're not, okay? When you're setting up a tent behind a gas station, okay, stealth camping in town because you can't afford a hotel where everybody's in a nice air-conditioned room eating free breakfast, that's another moment where you're like, man, to hell with it. So you got to understand, dude, preparation is everything. All right. If you don't want to have the hell with it, I'm going home, then your budget got to be straight. You got to have your knowledge has to be on point. You got to research this stuff because it's the ailments, it's the pain that's going to send you home. Now, worst moment, believe it or not. Okay. Worst moment. It was in North Carolina. I was carrying too much weight and I was exercising. I was doing everything wrong. So I wake up in the morning, it's like 32 degrees and I decide I'm going to work out. I'm lifting trees and all these logs and all of a sudden I felt a sensation that didn't feel right, okay? So I think I have to use the restroom. I go to use the restroom, I pull my shorts down and my left testicle is in my stomach. I see a lump. Literally, I see a lump. And I'm like, what the, you know? And I push on it, it drops, and then it goes right back up. Call it a hernia, I call it a rip, I don't know. But I dumped my gear, didn't even come back for it. I dumped my gear, I pushed it down, I got one hand on my crotch holding my nut down, and I'm going back to the road where I can hitch in. Worst moment and scariest moment of all. But by the time I got a hitch and got to the hospital, obviously my blood temperature, everything, and with the blood, it fell down. So I'm sitting in the doctor's office and I got my, you know, he's looking at my junk and I'm like, I swear, doctor, my nut, it was in my stomach. And it was something new to me. It never happened. But anyway, he's like, well, what do you want from me? It cost me $246 to see the doctor, emergency room, right off the bat. I couldn't recreate the conditions to make it happen, wouldn't want to, but that was enough for me to call it. And ever since then, with the pressure, I understood because I felt it. I know when something's about to go wrong, and I calmed down. But I ended up, it was a tear, and it was like, I guess it was an initial hernia. I don't know, but it was a tear, and all I can say is that it repaired itself because this was like what, I can't even give you a year. We'll call it 98. All right, never had a problem since then, but I got smarter. I stopped exercising on the trail. I stopped doing things that I just got smarter. Okay. And I stopped doing those things that ended up being wrong, all right? Another worst experience, 2005, and it's funny, it happened in Massachusetts, which ended up being my favorite state in 2015. So I'm hiking with my partner. we go and there's a shelter in Massachusetts. Now it just so happens, dude, it was just a perfect storm. I think it was like June. There was standing water all around us. We went into the shelter. Everything was nice, right? And then I didn't carry a tent. My motto was, you don't need a tent. They got shelters, right? And so around 10:30 that night, it was pitch black, and I'm just getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, okay? My hiking partner got a tent. They just chilling, you know what I'm saying? And all I hear is, and me cussing for like a half hour, me cussing. And I'm like, okay, I can't take this anymore. So I get up. I get out the sleeping bag because I had ended up putting myself all the way up in the sleeping bag to avoid the mosquitoes. And then I'm baking. You know, I'm like, I feel like a lobster in the pot getting poached. And so I couldn't take it anymore. And I got out. I put on my light to see what, like these mosquitoes. And it was like a Stephen King movie. The shelter was alive. You just saw them vibrating off the walls. Mosquitoes for like, oh my God. It was millions of them. And right there, I said, you know what? I'm getting off this trail. And I am buying a tent, and I'm not coming back until I have a tent. It just so happens my hiking partner, Spitfire, was from New Hampshire. She got on the cell phone, she called her daughter, said, hey, meet us over here, bring the tent, and da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, one thing led to another. I ended up, we didn't get any sleep that night. I just packed up, and I'm like, hey, and you know, she was a sport. She looked out. We just hiked through the night. We hit a road, and we got a hotel, and we stood in place until we got that tent. And so that was worse, too. The mosquitoes just ate the hell out of me. But again, another learning experience. So I'm going to wrap it up with the questions here. Pick this up later. You're going to see it because it's going to be a whole other different background. I'm not going to be in this the next time you see me. More than likely be in the bathroom. Break out here.